You're 30,000 feet in the air, forehead against the window, watching clouds slide by. You've done this 100 times. You've never once asked why that window is shaped like a rounded rectangle instead of a normal square. But the real answer is far stranger than you think. That curve is the reason you're alive right now. It came from a disaster violent enough that engineers had to rebuild their entire understanding of metal. In 1954, a new aircraft called the de Havilland Comet was flying passengers faster and higher than anything before it. Three of them broke apart mid-flight within a single year. No warning, no distress call. Just a plane and then no plane. Investigators submerged an entire fuselage in a pressurized water tank at the Royal Aircraft Establishment in Farnborough, cycling it through thousands of simulated flights. Led by engineer Sir Arnold Hall, the team watched it finally crack, right at the corner of a window, a square window. Every flight pressurizes and depressurizes the cabin. At a sharp corner, that stress doesn't spread evenly. It concentrates invisibly, until one day it doesn't hold. A curve gives the stress nowhere to grab onto. So every commercial jet today has oval windows, not for style, because someone learned, at a devastating cost, that a sharp corner in the wrong place can end a flight. You've been living with that lesson every time you've boarded a plane. You just never knew it. And once you start looking, the world is full of these decisions, quietly doing the same job that window does. Take the manhole cover under your feet. Why is it round? A square cover can be tilted on its diagonal and dropped straight through its own hole. A circle can't. No matter how you turn it, a circle is always wider than the hole it covers. That's geometry doing safety work under your feet every day. Now think about the school bus you rode as a kid. Why that exact yellow? In 1939, educator Frank Sear gathered paint companies and engineers to test which color the human eye catches fastest at the edge of vision in bad light. The shade that won is now called National School Bus Glossy Yellow, chosen because peripheral vision registers yellow-orange faster than almost anything else. Frank Kyer picked the color your eye would notice a split second sooner, before your brain even knew a bus was there. A split second. That's the whole point of half these designs. Not preventing danger, but buying you a moment you didn't know you needed. Consider the rumble strips on a highway shoulder. Cognitive psychologist David Strayer, who has spent decades studying driver attention at the University of Utah, has shown how easily the brain drifts into highway hypnosis, awake but not truly present. Rumble strips reach a different channel. Sound and vibration cut through faster than a visual cue when your eyes have gone unfocused. The strip doesn't wait for you to notice you're drifting. It makes your body notice first. Your body catches the mistake before your mind does. Strange thing to build a safety system around, isn't it? Now the stop sign at the end of your street. Why an octagon? It's the only 8-sided sign on the road, so even from behind, even in snow, even half hidden by a branch, that silhouette reads as stop before you're close enough to read a single letter. Shape recognition beats language. Your brain was reading that sign before you were even close enough to read it. Think about the orange life jacket in a boat's emergency kit. That shade has a name, International Orange, chosen because it survives against both blue water and blue sky, the two backgrounds most likely to swallow a person in distress. Red disappears at distance. Yellow blends into sunlight. Orange is the last color that gives up. Look at the emergency exit sign glowing above a doorway. Why is it mounted low at eye level instead of higher where a normal sign would go? Smoke rises. In a real fire, the air near the ceiling fills first, thick and dark, long before it reaches the floor. A sign mounted high would vanish behind smoke within seconds, so exit signage sits low, and some buildings add a second strip of glowing markers along the floor itself, so even someone crawling beneath the smoke, unable to see past their own shoulders, can still follow a lit path to a door. The sign isn't designed for a calm room. It's designed for the worst version of that room, the one where every other visual cue has already failed you. Doesn't it feel strange that so much of the world was quietly built for your worst day, not your average one? Even highway guardrails were rebuilt around this same idea. Early versions were rigid, built to stop a car outright, but a rigid barrier at high speed just transfers the full force of a crash into the human body. Modern guardrails are designed to bend, to absorb energy gradually instead of stopping a car instantly. The guardrail gave up on the car a long time ago. It's built entirely around the fragile thing sitting inside it. That's the pattern, once you see it. None of these designs are really trying to prevent an accident. They're trying to control the moment right after it starts. The window doesn't stop the plane from pressurizing. The rumble strip doesn't stop you from getting tired. The guardrail doesn't stop the crash. Each one assumes the failure is already coming and quietly prepares the smallest possible cushion for the second it arrives. Even the childproof cap on a medicine bottle follows this logic. It isn't built to be impossible to open. It requires two actions at once, a push and a twist. Something a small child's hands typically can't coordinate, but an adult's can. It doesn't assume a child won't try. It assumes they will, and builds the delay in any way. So here's the real shift. You've spent your life assuming the world around you is neutral, that a window is just a window, a sign is just a sign, a cap is just a cap. Almost none of it is. Somewhere behind nearly every ordinary object is a moment someone watched something fail badly enough that they never wanted it to fail that way again. You are, in a very real sense, living inside the accumulated memory of other people's disasters. Every rounded corner, every unmistakable color, every awkward two-step mechanism is a small monument to a mistake that already happened to someone else, so it wouldn't have to happen to you. Next time you're 30,000 feet in the air, forehead against the window, watching clouds slide by, you won't just be looking outside. You'll be looking through a shape that was paid for by three planes that never landed, and a lesson the sky refused to let anyone forget.